What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I'm putting myself in controversial territory yet again. I've done a couple of these videos, and they've gone so-so, but I want to talk about the divide online for Starfield. Now, I'm not specifically talking about, because I think one of the first things that at least I saw, and I don't know why these things continue to pop up on my Twitter when I never like them, I never retweet them, I never reply to them, I never do any, but it still pops up. The comparisons to anything Sony, all right? I'm not going to go down that angle. There's people, posting pictures of what the characters in Starfield look like versus like Horizon Forbidden West. That tends to be a comparison I see people doing online. I'm not going to talk about that because that's a waste of my own time and breath, and I don't want to waste your time. But I do want to talk about the general, divide of this game. And this is, by the way, I'm not saying like there is, but I'm not talking about this specifically. There's people that obviously like hate it, or people that want to hate it, people that blindly love it. I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm more or less talking about people that, I guess, believe Todd Howard or don't believe Todd Howard. Is that kind of fair to say? That's really, and also, I guess, a mixed response to the showcase, what they showed. Now, I overall liked it. I liked it actually quite a bit. In my overall impressions, I made a video a few days ago or yesterday or whatever. I said, if it runs well, if everything's working at full capacity, this game I think can be absolutely awesome. Now, there are some hangups that I want to talk about in this video, but it also is, with the criteria that it runs well. And that is not to be assumed that's going to happen. We're talking about Bethesda here, right? So that is something that we've seen online, and some of these things, by the way, I didn't even notice in the actual trailer or in their showcase. There's actually a moment where they're showing like a top-down view, and a character's walking into like the civilization or whatever, and his head's backwards. His head is looking the wrong way as he's walking. So there are still kind of bugs and glitches throughout literally what they even showed. So they do have a lot of work left. A thing that is kind of glaring that I've seen people, and I think this is kind of overwhelmingly on one side. Okay, this one specific part, the idea that you can visit 1,000 planets. Now, I had the exact same reaction that I saw people describe on Twitter, where it went from, I'm excited about the game, and I still am excited, right? But it went from like excitement, and then they say, okay, well, here, you're going to be able to, go around here, and then let's pull back. You're going to be able to land on 1,000 planets. And immediately, I wasn't excited, like, at all. In fact, I was more like, oh, there's no way. There's no way that that'll actually be good. And I'm willing, if anything, like, I do think maybe some of the, I pray to some sort of God. I pray that they can get these bugs and stuff under control, and that the game can come out at least in the best state a Bethesda game can come out in. That's what I'm truly, I swear to you, I'm really hoping for that. But one thing that I'm very willing to put my feet in the sand and say, there's no way this is going to work, is that. Okay, I think the base building is going to be incredible. I think the ship building is going to be incredible. I think the space battles looked incredible. We'll see how it actually plays out in the game. But the going through like 1,000 planets, there's just no way those planets are all going to be filled with like exciting. There has to be some planets that are not going to be full of, like, it's just going to happen. And I think kind of everyone under the face of the sun has kind of agreed to that, where it's like, yeah, it didn't hit us as well as maybe they thought. Like, you'd think them saying there's 1,000 planets to explore, you'd think that would hit us really big, where it's like, oh my God, so much content. Instead, it's like, well, yeah, it is a lot of content, but it's probably not going to work. So that, I think, is something that is, whether you love it and you have like a couple hangups on it, this is I'm gonna speak for you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. This is probably one of those hangups, okay? And that's kind of what I've seen people unanimously, decide upon, right? Everybody kind of come together on both sides of the aisle and say, yes, this is most likely it. There is more divide. Now, I liked the gunplay, and that I don't know. I was gonna say, I guess that's controversial, because specifically on Twitter, and I know Twitter is hell on earth, I understand that. Specifically on Twitter, I have seen more negative things on the gunplay than positive. Here on YouTube, with like the people on my videos, people on other videos, I think it's a little bit more well received. Again, you'll have to tell me in the comments. I like the gunplay in terms of comparing it to other, like, specifically, I guess, Fallout games. I get why Fallout games are the way they are with the gunplay. It's like a hallmark of the game, right? It's supposed to be like that. I like that it's a little faster. It seems a little bit more seamless. It's not like the greatest, shooting game of all time. And again, I think that's also where some people are understanding, where it's like, look, ultimately or I guess specifically these games, right? You're not necessarily playing it for the gameplay. You're playing it to see, can they actually pull off this expanded lore, the story in space with all these different colonies and all these different planets? Can they make like a space adventure in terms of the story and the characters and the quests? That's why you play this game. You don't necessarily play it for the guns, for the gunplay, right? Which I think is valid. With that being said, though, I will still stand on, as of right now, I'm more of a fan of the guns than I've been in a long time for any Bethesda game, or I guess, well, these kind of Bethesda games, and I'm willing to, see how far it goes. Visually, I'm very, very happy with it. Again, I guess when you go into visuals, you go into that, the fanboy, warriors, the comparison with Horizon, and to be honest with you, Horizon is not the game I immediately think of when I think, oh, Starfield. Well, I'm going to compare it visually. I think the most obvious game to compare it to visually is Horizon. Like, I just don't. It doesn't come to my mind. It comes to my mind now because I've seen it online, but it didn't come to my mind, I guess, a day or two ago. So, and then I guess the final thing, right? And we talked about a couple different elements. The final thing is that trust level, right? The trust of Todd Howard. And this is maybe something that, again, a lot of people are probably on board with. And I think, again, this is not an Xbox thing. This is not a Bethesda thing. In general, we probably shouldn't be so trustworthy of these people, of these developers. I've said it before. I think there's an extremely few amount of developers that deserve 100% trust and goodwill going into their games. Full on, where you can tell you can go out on the street, right, with like a sign and say, I can promise you this game is going to be a 10 out of 10. Like, I know it's going to be great. There are very few developers that I think deserve that. Very few. If maybe any at all, right? Maybe that's even me being biased, right? Because I'm sure I have some biasness towards some developers that you'd say, I don't know, Alex. I don't know if you would say that for those. So, you know what I mean? It's not, it's not an anti-Xbox thing. It's I guess it's an anti-developer thing where I respect these people. By the way, don't get it wrong. I respect these people. I'm not wishing any ill will, nothing like that. It's just, when Todd Howard speaks, he has a way of selling things, which is a good quality. Jeff Keighley has that quality, right? It's a very good thing to have. You want to sell your games. You want to get people excited. And they do, or I guess Todd Howard does a very, very good job at it, right? At the same time, I guess this goes with visuals. This goes with it just works, right? It goes with the bugs, all that kind of stuff. Like, it doesn't always go the way they say. You know what I mean? So that's another thing where it's like, all right, well, do you trust what they showed for Starfield? That really, I guess, is boiled down all the way. Do you everything you saw all in one? Do you trust it? Do you trust the vision, or do you not? And again, I think overwhelmingly the people on the internet, the people that are not out to hate this game, right? Because people that are out to hate this game, you just exclude. They're not part of the community. They never will be. I guess they want to be to bash it, but that's kind of it. Which, by the way, criticism is perfectly fine, but like, going in to hate it is something a little bit different. But I think the people that are on, Bethesda's side here and want a good Starfield game, I do think there's a couple different layers to them, right? People that maybe trust it more than others, people that maybe have more problems than others, people that are kind of down the middle. So I have seen this general divide, but there is also, again, some parts where I think everybody's kind of come together, where it's like, all right, well, I see a lot of potential here. I think this game can be extremely good, but at the same time, you're gonna probably have to expect these bugs, these glitches, all this kind of stuff. That's gonna be in the game. So we'll see what happens. I'll, of course, be covering this as time goes on, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me anywhere else, all my social media links are in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.